While many U.S. investors continue to display a home country bias and a heavy preference for U.S. stocks, we continue to advise global diversification. We're particularly positive on Europe right now for several important reasons. Let's break it down. Well, we need to acknowledge out of the gate that European stocks have lagged their U.S. counterparts for quite a long time, with significant underperformance for over 10 years. That said, the tide has turned recently, with Europe outperforming the U.S., and we think that can continue. Why? Well, first, we anticipate that the ECB will continue to provide liquidity to the market, and that will keep European interest rates low for a really long time. Now, we know that's a risk asset tailwind, but you may say we've had negative rates since 2014, yet we still saw underperformance. So what's different this time? That brings me to the second point. We now have a fiscal impulse across Europe, with the European Recovery Fund set to distribute funds later this summer and into next year. While we don't anticipate that this will be a powerful macro tailwind, as much of this is really long-term infrastructure spending, it certainly is a far cry from the post-global financial crisis austerity that served to offset much of the monetary stimulus. The third point is perhaps the most important. Europe has more leverage, more sensitivity to the economic recovery. We know that Europe is several months behind the U.S. on the recovery trajectory given the early problems with the vaccine rollout, but we anticipate significant improvement to the region's economic growth later this year and well into 2022. We also know that European financial markets are far more sensitive to the global growth outlook, which we also see improving. At the end of the day, we believe that European risk asset markets can continue to outperform the U.S., and now is the time to make sure your portfolio is positioned as a true global investor.